The arrest on February 17, 2022, Brittany Griner arrived at an airport near Moscow, Russia. She was a star player on the Phoenix Mercury, a WNBA basketball team, and for the last 7 off-seasons she also played on a Russian team. But as she approached security, agents stopped her. In her bags, they found cannabis oil. Then agents arrested her, and a court sentenced her to 9 years in prison for drug possession. But Russia didn't really imprison Griner because she broke the law. It imprisoned her because 7,000 miles away, a notorious Russian arms dealer sat in a US prison, and Vladimir Putin wanted to make a trade. The growing crisis over the last decade, the number of Americans detained abroad has skyrocketed, and many were detained by Russia. There are journalists, dissidents, and normal travelers, but to Putin, they're pawns he can seize, trade, and use to extort the US. And so far, it's working. This is a problem that's here to stay, because it's a tactic that works. So how did we end up in a new era of hostage-taking? Why is Putin in particular kidnapping so many Americans? And how far is the US willing to go to free them? Act 1. The no-concessions policy, the original rule for decades. The US followed a simple rule in hostage situations: no concessions. The rule was established in 1973 when the Palestinian terrorist group Black September kidnapped 2 US diplomats and demanded that the US free several hundred prisoners. President Richard Nixon felt that giving in would incentivize other terrorist groups to kidnap Americans, so he refused. Black September executed the Americans, but no concessions remained official US policy for the most part. So the US tried to uphold this policy, but in reality, we did sometimes make concessions. Investigating the truth, Wall Street Journal reporters Drew Hinshaw and Joe Parkinson have been investigating hostage diplomacy for years, and they detail it all in a new book, Swap, A Secret History of the New Cold War. And it depended on who was president, the way the president looked at this problem, and sometimes who the kidnapper was. Exceptions: if the hostage was an American spy, the US would trade a spy for him, like in 1962, when the US sent captured Soviet spy Rudolf Abel across a German bridge. At the same time, the Soviets sent across Gary Powers, a CIA pilot. The US also sometimes made concessions if the kidnapper was a foreign government. Jimmy Carter lifted some sanctions on Iran to free hostages, and Ronald Reagan traded a Soviet spy for a detained American journalist. The autocratic advantage. Because both of these governments were autocratic, they had an advantage over the US. If you arrest an American citizen, there's public pressure on the White House to free that person at whatever price. If you want to watch the next part, subscribe to the channel and type next in the comments, so the next part can be uploaded for you.